please welcome William Rueckert, Chair, Board of Trustees.
Good morning. As Chairman of the Teachers College Board of Trustees, I have the honor of officially opening today's ceremony and being the first to congratulate the 2018 Master's graduates of Teachers College. The diplomas you will receive today are not just rewards for the courses, papers, and exams you have completed. Because they are TC diplomas, they are proof that you have collaborated with some of the best minds in your field, that you are ready to confront the biggest challenges, and that you have what it takes to become outstanding leaders and change makers. Many of you will take on the noble profession of teaching, armed with the rigorous combination of theory, practice, and specialized training that only TC can provide. There is no higher or more urgent calling than the shaping of future generations, and we salute all our teachers here today. But preparing teachers is only one way that Teachers College fulfills its mission of advancing education and improving the lives of individuals, families, and communities. TC graduates are dedicated to increasing human well-being both in and out of schools and classrooms and across the lifespan as principals and superintendents, as artists and arts administrators, as psychologists and health practitioners, and as leaders in every stripe. For more than 130 years, TC scholars have discovered new ways to understand the complex forces that shape our minds, our bodies, and our relationships with each other and the world around us. Their foresight led to the creation of many fields, such as social studies education, special education, and inclusive education, that many of you will now advance in your own distinct ways. Today, TC offers more than 100 programs in education, health, psychology, and leadership, all sharing a single aim: to help individuals and communities reach their full potential. Making all this possible and helping TC reach its full potential requires extraordinary leadership at the top. And Teachers College has been blessed with great leadership for the past 12 years. It's my very great pleasure to introduce the President of Teachers College, Susan H. Fuhrman.
Good morning. Welcome to a most joyous occasion as we honor the talented women and men who have already achieved so much and are just getting started. I give you the 2018 Master's graduates of Teachers College. Congratulations, graduates, you made it. And congratulations as well to those who helped you make it to this day, our outstanding faculty and dedicated staff. And let's all show our appreciation to your families and partners for their love, encouragement, and support. Graduates, you now join the ranks of our 90,000 alumni who are leaders in education, psychology, and health. Like them, you now have the power to transform learning environments and to expand opportunity for everyone, including our most marginalized and vulnerable human beings, fellow human beings. And like your fellow alumni, you are dedicating your lives and careers to the pursuit of social justice, a TC tradition that literally goes back to our founder, Grace Hoadley Dodge. Grace Dodge was among the leaders of a growing movement in the late 19th century to provide educational and social opportunities for low-income and marginalized populations. Like her contemporary Jane Addams, who founded settlement houses where people from different socioeconomic backgrounds could share ideas and information, Grace was bound and determined to improve the lives of struggling families. It was her unique vision to establish a college that would prepare professionals to work with immigrant students and their families who had recently fled poverty, war, and prejudice, and were still encountering xenophobia and economic peril. It was also Grace Dodge's brilliance to recognize the need for the skills, cultural understanding, and self-awareness to understand and address immigrants' educational, health, and psychological needs. Grace Dodge believed this deeper knowledge could help immigrants and their communities achieve economic mobility and social equality. Thanks to her, Teachers College quickly became a force for increasing opportunity in education and all aspects of life as a path to greater social justice. But also implicit in Grace's vision was another TC hallmark: the value of research, and the notion that for all of us at the college, regardless of our field of study or career path, evidence guides and informs our scholarship and practice. This is what I want to stress today in my final convocation speech. TC is both a professional school and a research powerhouse. I believe one can't do either, preparing professional practitioners or preparing researchers well, without the other. We rely on research to better understand phenomena such as, for example, how the brain processes and responds to information. Research also helps us understand the different populations we serve. Why is that so important? Because you can't help people learn, grow, and reach their full potential if you don't truly understand who they are and the cultures they've come from. You can't engage them in learning and growing without understanding the lens through which they see the world and building on what they already know. Finally, research informs our practice, guiding us to choose solutions and approaches that best serve those whom we teach, heal, and otherwise assist. If these ideas came of age in Grace Dodge's time, they are absolutely imperative in our own. We live in an era, first of all, when advances in understanding of learning and development are occurring almost daily, not just in schools and classrooms, but in physical rehabilitation centers, health management settings, organizations, and life situations that call for adaptive responses. Here at TC, research is driving innovation and informing professional practice in psychology, health, and education. Imagine preparing professionals in an environment devoid of such discoveries. It would be like preparing a surgeon entirely through apprenticeship, as we used to do in the early 19th century, the early 20th century, without a grounding in anatomy, physiology, or pathology. With the explosion of knowledge in recent years about how people learn and about human development, preparing practitioners to function in an environment divorced from that intellectual ferment would be like preparing doctors without emerging knowledge of the human genome or individually targeted therapies. It would be profoundly conservative, backward-looking, not forward-looking. Our faculty are making fundamental discoveries through close observation and engagement with the communities they serve. To cite just two examples, this spring, TC neuroscience and education professor Kim Noble and researchers at other institutions launched a major study to determine the impact of poverty on brain development in young children. In previous work, Professor Noble found that increases in both parental education and family income were associated with increases in the surface area of numerous brain regions in children and adolescents. Now, to determine whether that link is a causal one, she and her team will give cash supplements to a group of low-income new mothers and measure brain development in their children at age 3. The outcome could have a profound impact on social policy. Professor Sonali Rajan of our health education program has been a national leader both in conducting research on the causes of gun violence by youth and in championing more sensible policies. In work that has won her widespread accolades, Professor Rajan and her co-author found that contrary to prevailing wisdom, multiple risk behaviors are more strongly associated with gun possession among youth than is poor mental health. These other risk factors include having been injured in a fight or having been a victim of sexual violence. These examples powerfully convey the importance of research and its implications for introducing practices and policies that can make an enormous difference in human lives. They also affirm the value of research-based graduate schools of education and allied fields. How, after all, can any policymaker, health professional, school leader, or parent afford to be ignorant of such efforts, the results they're achieving, and the information they're providing? Attending a research-based school is critically important because emerging research prepares you for tomorrow, not just for today. Confining professional training to just observing good current practice is profoundly short-sighted, particularly when knowledge is increasing exponentially. Graduates, your TC education has prepared you to translate evidence generated by research into practice and to evaluate the results. You will tailor what you've learned to the specific contexts and communities in which you work. Conversely, if you've been trained to be a researcher, studying at TC prepares you to connect your research deeply to problems of practice, assuring maximum impact. Of course, many of you are already engaged in that work. Take clinical psychology graduate Irene Zhang. Irene came to TC with a strong background in quantitative research and a fierce determination to produce desperately needed research on teen suicide, which is the second leading cause of adolescent death worldwide. At TC, Irene worked with a team at the Laboratory for Clinical and Developmental Studies, directed by Dr. Christine Cha, that interviewed 71 young people from 12 to 19 years of age in order to gauge the impact that perceived criticism from parents or peers has on the ideation of suicidal thoughts or behavior. Her study produced two important findings. First, it determined that perceived criticism from parents does not correspond to teenagers' experience of suicidal thoughts, and aside, a relief to many of us. The responses, however, indicated that, in her words, adolescents who experience higher levels of perceived criticism from peers reported more severe suicidal ideation. Irene's findings have created a window for further inquiry, including in the area of adolescent relationships gone bad. Right now, she's working at a New York Psychiatric Institute research lab, but she's planning on continuing her research as a doctoral candidate in clinical psychology. Word on the street is that she's got her sights set on a great program on 120th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam. Irene, we're so grateful you're dedicating your career to such an important topic. And then there's Ana Leon Santos, who took an unusual path to becoming a researcher. While Ana got a taste for research as a college undergrad in a developmental psychology lab, going straight to graduate school was not in her plans. But when she learned that TC's Neurocognition, Early Experience, and Development Lab was looking for a manager, she jumped at the chance to apply. And she enrolled in TC's program in neuroscience and education and did field work interviewing new mothers, crunching and analyzing data for Kim Noble's Baby Behavior, Language, and EEG study. Even better, Ana was present for the run-up and rollout this month of the groundbreaking study, Baby's First Years, a randomized controlled trial of poverty reduction. Now Ana's planning to devote her career to early childhood development. I've had the opportunity to sit on the side of the table where we describe the science, Ana says. Now I think I'd enjoy moving to the other side of the table to learn if different initiatives are a good fit for a foundation or a nonprofit. Ana, the field of early childhood development is lucky to have you. Congratulations. Graduates, you are the seers and shapers of the future. In this room are researchers who shape treatments that open up new lives for people with neurologically based disorders. Others among you will use your understanding of cultures and identities to provide mental health care to people of all backgrounds. You will develop language and culture-specific systems of support for the impoverished, for veterans, for refugees, and for millions of displaced and marginalized people seeking to exercise and enjoy basic rights. Or perhaps you'll address the needs of children who are deaf or hard of hearing, or have speech and language disorders, or work with elected officials to set policies in education and health, or assist schools in identifying and protecting students who are subjected to abuse or are at risk for harming themselves. Others among you will help set and shape policies that could once and for all end disparities in access to quality education and health care. Disparities that have penalized generation after generation of low-income Americans as well as people of color. But all of you, researchers, clinicians, policymakers, all of you will have a hand in changing the trajectories of the lives you touch for the better. And they will change you. Why? Because your TC degrees stand for more than a resolve to confront what is wrong in our society and to make it right. They are also a summons for you to continue to deepen your knowledge and understanding of the students you teach and counsel, the patients you treat, the communities you serve, so you can work with them to achieve brighter futures. The challenges confronting our society are daunting, but my faculty colleagues and I are optimistic because we have taken the full measure of your talents, integrity, and readiness. We are confident that individually and collectively, you will make the greatest possible difference in the world, and you will both be and create outstanding citizens in the course of your work. This is your time. Keep bright the chain of social justice and the pursuit of knowledge for the public good that began with the founding of Teachers College. And as researchers, remember the physicist David Deutsch's observation that all failures, all evils, are due to insufficient knowledge. In other words, when it comes to improving the world, we can never know too much. Congratulations. We have now reached the moment in this ceremony when we honor an extraordinary individual whose life's work has advanced the cause of education while upholding TC's core mission to foster excellence and equity in the fields we serve. Among those honored at past ceremonies were Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Coretta Scott King, Senator George Mitchell, Pete Seeger, Thomas Friedman, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Gail Collins, Spike Lee, Linda Darling Hammond, Temple Grandin, and the Reverend Dr. Calvin O. Butts. This year, we honor 4 preeminent scholars and practitioners, Jelani Cobb, Eric Holder, Helene Gale, and Walter Mischel. I am pleased to welcome TC Professor Michael Rebell, joined by Provost Thomas James, to introduce Eric Holder.
Good morning, and congratulations, graduates. It is my pleasure to invite our medalist, Eric H. Holder, to join us at the podium. Eric Holder, when the history of your tenure is written, you will ultimately be recognized as one of the finest attorneys general that this country has ever known. In the field of civil rights, there are few who could even claim to rival your dedication, strategic focus, and commitment. Those are the words of Sherilyn Ifill, president of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. They are also the thoughts of so many of us around the nation. You courageously advocated for same-sex marriage rights and for greater equity in our criminal justice system while remaining vigilant against crime. You took a strong stand against overzealous prosecution of low-level offenses and subsequent overpopulation of our prisons. In your words, the United States will never be able to prosecute or incarcerate its way to become a safer nation. For far too long, our system has perpetuated a destructive cycle of poverty, criminality, and incrimination. That has trapped countless people and weakened entire communities, particularly communities of color. In response, you created programs that led to our country's first decrease in its federal prison population since 1980. Following the Supreme Court's decision to strike down a centerpiece of the Voting Rights Act, you fought to protect voting rights for all Americans. You continue to lead this fight today as chair of the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, which works to undo the partisan and racial gerrymandering of voting districts. You have called gerrymandering a fundamental affront to our democracy and have been out front and center in persuading politicians, the public, and the courts to fix this urgent problem. And as the nation was increasingly riven by the police killings of black men, you spoke out against entrenched stereotypes and inadequate sensitivity training, even as you defended the integrity and courage of the vast number of law enforcement officers. You continue to be, as Congressman John Lewis called you, a persistent and consistent leader in the struggle for civil and human rights. Here at Columbia, your alma mater, you've built on your social justice legacy by establishing the Eric H. Holder Initiative for Civil and Political Rights to advance civic participation among undergraduates. In this and in all that you've done for our country, you have reminded us to, quote, look at justice as more than the simple absence of injustice, but as the abundance of opportunity.
Eric Holder, for making history as our nation's first African-American Attorney General. For working to ensure that the Constitution protects the rights of all Americans, and for your continuing service to the cause of equality and justice, we proudly present you with the Teachers College Medal for Distinguished Service.
Good morning. Oh, come on, folks. Good morning. This is a happy day. Yeah, it is. Thank you, Professor Rebell and Provost James, for that kind introduction. It is a pleasure for me to be here with all of you today. And it's always a deep privilege to come back to my alma mater, to this cathedral that for very personal reasons is very special to me, and to always be able to call this neighborhood home. Now, my years at Columbia meant a great deal to me. I count the 7 years that I spent in Morningside Heights to be among the great blessings of my life. I am honored to stand with you and with so many proud parents, siblings, teachers, mentors, and friends as we celebrate this year's graduates. To the members of the class of 2018, congratulations. The diplomas that you have received represent far more than the years of study at one of the country's finest institutions. They also represent the commitment of everyone who has believed in your potential. They represent your own perseverance, and they represent the critical role that you have chosen for yourself to make better our nation by being educators, life shapers, and policy makers. In every way and in every era, the future of America relies on its teachers. Education is opportunity. Education is power. And education leads to personal and to national success. Yet, let's be honest, the United States continually lags behind many countries in educational commitment and achievement. Every 3 years, the Program for International Student Assessment measures reading ability, math, and science literacy, and other key skills among 15-year-olds in dozens of developed and developing countries. And the most recent PISA results placed the United States 38th out of 71 countries in math and 24th in science. This is simply unacceptable and must be changed. We must do better by our students. Now, a week ago today, we celebrated Teacher Appreciation Day. This year, that day came in the midst of a movement that began when teachers in West Virginia walked out of their classrooms to protest low wages, rising health care costs, and critically, lack of support for the educational needs of their students. That movement has spread to several other states where teachers are fighting not just for fairer wages that value their contributions to our nations, but also increased spending to enhance the educational experience of our country's students. Let me be very clear. These teacher walkouts and protests are in the finest tradition of positive social movements. The teachers are right. But let me caution you, this must remain a movement and not just become a moment. And let me be clear again, I stand with and I support those teachers in their struggle for our youth. An uncaring status quo and the politicians who comprise it will not be moved without the kind of righteous pressure that these protests represent. For too long, we have turned a blind eye as a nation towards the needs and frustrations of our teachers. The national average salary for teachers is just $58,000, and educators receive far less in far too many places. Teachers, given their critical role in society, must be appreciated in a material way to a far greater degree. But it doesn't take a comparison of salaries and pension plans to appreciate that education and teacher empowerment take a back seat in our recitation of our national priorities. How many times have you seen federal or state legislators demand increased teacher pay and adequate supplies in schools? Why do politicians argue vociferously for guns in schools, but not for more books? When are we going to stop talking about tweets and start focusing on it in administration's, I believe, total lack of capacity, of ability to better our education system? Education reform, so sorely needed, is not a focus in our culture, in too many of our communities, and in too many of our governments. So in addition to your traditional educational responsibilities, you must be a part of the solution to a problem that has been ignored for far too long, has negatively impacted far too many lives, and finally has the attention of the nation. It is up to you to be a part of that solution. You have to educate, and as John Lewis says, you have to make good trouble. As the people who will be educating our nation and therefore shaping our future, you already carry so much of our country's burden. You are already being asked to do so much for too little. But I ask you to do one more thing. Be at the forefront of those policy changes that will affect lasting change. Change the culture of our country so that education is prioritized above all. And help end those inadequacies in education that cement disparities in wealth, in health, and in success. And as someone who has spent a lifetime working in various facets of the criminal justice system, I ask that you not forget the need for education there. In this country, all children deserve equal access to a high-quality education. And this is no less true for children in our juvenile justice system. We need to find ways to ensure that system-involved youth throughout the country can imagine different futures for themselves and then prepare for those futures by laying the groundwork of a successful path forward. We must reach out to and value young Americans who probably haven't gotten the education they deserved both before and while they were involved with the juvenile justice system. Now, as I said many times during the years I served as Attorney General, we will never be able to incarcerate our way to better outcomes, a stronger nation, or a brighter future. And for youth especially, reducing contact with the justice system through better education is the best hope for positive outcomes and for countering the economic challenges to state and local budgets posed by high levels of incarceration. We need to work tirelessly with you all leading the charge to ensure that every young person who's involved in the system acquires or retains access to the quality education that they need to rebuild their lives and to reclaim their futures. Quality education is and always will be an essential component in preventing delinquency and crime. It can empower, engage, and transform a young person's view of him or herself. And it can broaden opportunities, raise expectations, and elevate every child's sense of his or her own place in the world. Now, I know that I have asked much of you today. This country has always asked perhaps too much of people who sat in the same seats that you occupy today. But you would not have chosen this profession unless you cared, unless you wanted to be a force for change, if you did not have faith in your abilities to motivate people. These are the qualities not just of teachers or educators, these are the qualities of leaders. And that is what all of you are, as shown by the achievement that we celebrate today. Graduating from the nation's finest college of education. You are the best and the brightest. You are superbly trained. You have the ability, and I would say the responsibility, to do great transformative things. Success for you will not be measured by whether you did well, but by whether you did good. Success will not only be measured by the societal challenges that you bring about, but also by the individual lives that you impact. Now, everyone can point to teachers in their lives who made a substantial difference, from kindergarten all the way to graduate school. And so it must be with you as well. Understand that in every day, with every student, you have the chance to make that substantial difference. That is an awesome opportunity that comes with substantial pressure. But you are graduates of Columbia. You are now part of a great tradition of educators who have met the challenges of their time. It is now time to make the coming era yours by meeting the challenges of your time. This nation is capable of and has done great things. It need not be made great again. It already is. And yet, our country is still in the process of becoming that more perfect union. You can and must be leaders in that effort. Do not defer to those in other professions who for too long have dominated policy determinations. It is time, it is past time for educators to be in the front lines of that decision making. So be present, be heard, be persistent. You will be effective. Now, in closing, I want to commend you all for your commitment to the cause of education and for your unrelenting perseverance in a field that is so critical, yet is so undervalued. Education needs to be more than a national priority. To me, it is also a moral imperative, a true measure of a society's worth. Now, I am hopeful that you will elevate it as such for our entire nation. So congratulations again, and best of luck as you embark on this truly good fight. Now get out there and change the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome student speaker Wale Okerayi, master's candidate, Department of Counseling and Clinical Psychology.
Good morning, class of 2018. Thank you so much. Special thank you to the faculty and the staff, and as well as our friends and family in the crowd. You all look so beautiful early this morning. Thank you. This morning I want to share my story about my journey on rediscovering my dream, which is something that I'm sure many of you can relate to in here. So let's go back to 3 years ago. It's 2015. I had just graduated in Texas with honors, and the future was bright and promising. The plan at the time was to work a 9 to 5 and study for the LSAT because I was going to be a lawyer. 4 months after graduation, finding a job seemed close to impossible, and I started to doubt why I even wanted to go to law school in the first place. At that point, survival mode kicked in, so I do what most people do. I started babysitting. From there, I went on my first job. After some hours and some diapers, my shift ends and the mom takes over. As I'm leaving, she says, "Well, they tell us to get to know the sitters, so what are you up to these days?" And for some reason, I just told her everything. Everything from trying to find a job to even a possible career switch. After my rant, she encouraged me to read a book titled Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. That book had a profound influence on my life, and here's one quote that specifically stood out to me. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And from that day, that's exactly what I started to do. I started listening and leaning more into myself, and I started paying more attention and going with my gut feelings. After a month of babysitting, I had met roughly around 9 families at that time. 8 of the mothers had acquired their masters in mental health counseling and were either working in the field or acquiring their PhD. So at that point, I'm thinking, all right, universe, I get it. After leaning into myself and envisioning what I wanted in life, I realized that counseling was it. And then it struck me. I had wanted to pursue counseling when I was a sophomore in undergrad. I even wrote about it in my application to be an RA. But because I was so focused on what everyone around me was doing, I completely forgot about this dream and took a different route. But now that I have taken control of my life, pursuing my dream of becoming a Black therapist was born. And the best part about this discovery is that I finally decided to pursue my own passion. That clarity lasted until I started to share the news. Although I felt confident for the first time in years, others felt very differently. There were a lot of, "Are you sure?" and "From law school to counseling? You know they make any money, right?" But I knew that this was something that I wanted to do, and I was willing to do what it takes to make it work. Hours felt like days, and days felt like months, until that glorious day in March 2016. I got the most beautiful email filled with confetti. I had been accepted to TC. After the tears of joy and relief, doubt and fear came knocking. How will I pay for it? From Texas to New York? Ivy League? Am I good enough? But through that cloud of fear, I reminded myself that I made it this far based on my dreams. and I was sure that everything would work out. Summer came and went, and as I got off the 1 train on the 116 stop, imposter syndrome popped in for the first time. It tried to tell me that this was a mistake and that I wasn't meant to be here. And it took a conscious effort to remind myself that I was meant to be here, and my time at TC has definitely reflected that. TC has helped me grow into my identity as a Nigerian American Black woman by allowing me to share my story in safe and welcoming spaces. It has also given me a community of friends and professors that have engaged with me in very difficult conversations about topics such as intersectionality, race, and gender identity, and the importance of movements such as Black Lives Matter. This has forced me to face the injustices that we face every day, but have a place to kind of have people to back me up, and that was something that meant the world to me. These conversations with my tribe helped to enhance my philosophies and solidify my goal to be a part of the movement to ending the stigma of mental health in communities of color, because it's important that there are therapists that look like me in my field. My community here at TC has impacted my life in such a positive way, and every time I started to feel discouraged or helpless, I looked to them, and they were always there to remind me that I was in the right place and that I was finally living a life that I chose to live. And that is what I want to leave you all with today. I want to encourage you to listen to your intuition in the face of doubt covered in fear. Listen to your intuition in the face of imposter syndrome, and listen to your intuition when everything seems dark and you have lost hope. By doing this, it is the only way that you can live a life of your choosing. So at the end of the day, the only person that you're living for is you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ruth Aguirre, Jan Carlos Colón, and Fernando Garcia, members of the TC Latin Music Project. And now to recognize each of the master's degree candidates are Tom Rock, Vice Provost of Student Affairs, and Christine Rome, Associate Provost.
At this time, it gives us great pleasure to read the names of those candidates for the Master of Arts, Master of Education, Master of Philosophy, and Master of Science degrees at Teachers College, Columbia University. All degrees will be conferred at the Columbia University ceremony tomorrow. Thank you very much. And now, our candidates for the Master of Arts, Master of Education, Master of Philosophy, and Master of Science degrees.
We'll begin with the Department of Biobehavioral Sciences. Ana Leon Santos.
Rod Strobel.
Elaine Mascus.
Roseanne Gomez Hernandez.
Sarah Torres.
Christine Cruz.
Alana Passion.
Catherine Salazar.
Sabrina Alvarez.
Paula Villacrez.
Suzanne Simmons.
Jennifer Meza.
Taylor Chris.
Jordan Stolstrager.
Jacqueline Giordano.
Caroline Rocco.
Victoria Pereira.
Shane Nielsen.
Nicole Engelman.
Patricia Reyes.
Catherine Vallone.
Catherine O'Hare.
Angela Brown.
Jalinda Cillian.
Alexis Applebaum.
Stephanie Christopher.
Shira Goldstein.
Yufu Xiao.
Sarah Horn.
Michelle Peralta.
Claire Anderson.
Yvette Balboa.
Diana Deltzenberg.
Adrisis Muskea.
Jessica Hazel.
Danielle Tosado.
Mary Obenheim.
Maria Gracia Seto.
Lonnie Karp.
Tara Radwan.
Elizabeth Wagner.
Margot Vincent.
Trisha Vu.
Mahoti Miranda.
Zaina Saikali.
Megan Brissett.
May Sophie.
Sarah Sweeney.
Carrie Matsumoto.
Janessa Holder.
Lauren Cavallero.
Yoshiko Mariwa.
Tappy Tong.
Lars Clove.
Sarah Villegas.
Vincent Grady.
Shanna Ream.
Chris Meadows Bonner.
Jindai Johnson.
Efrain Frankie DeJesus.
Victoria Bagirova.
Siobhan Lawless.
Aya Cindy.
Shayna Reed.
Nicole Dobson.
Felipe Cazade.
Boyun In.
Abby Ferreira.
Caroline Nelson Nichols.
Lisa Young.
Melinda Kausick.
Grace Frutos.
Ranchal Sabrahal.
Judy K. Ruse.
Jasmine Lin.
Julie Smith.
Jackie Shihyun Kim.
Will the students and the faculty from the Department of Biobehavioral Sciences please stand and recognize our graduates?
Congratulations. I now invite the graduates in the Department of Counseling and Clinical Psychology. Max Benezra.
Matthew Corwin.
Martha Moreno.
Alvin Atkinson.
Naveen Abushi.
Donald Wynn.
Lucinda Keck.
Monica Graham.
Jalan Ahmad Llewellyn.
Reggie Lauritsen.
Ben Mitchell.
Sumeda Arun.
Sky McCrae Curtis.
Catherine Wollstonecroft.
Rebecca Gayo Laza.
Ashna Badlani.
Rachel Biley.
Emily Hunt.
Mia Bernardi.
Nick Bensmiller.
Lenia Che.
Camila Kravitz.
Catherine Yeun Kim.
Amna Adamji.
Zayu Tiger Wen.
Noor Durrani.
Clementine Brown.
Aishako Yusel.
Jordan Rands.
Shalat Ham.
Christy Kim.
Brandon Willette.
Eileen Chu.
Melanie Cook.
Catherine Alcid.
Samantha Waldman.
Emily Byer.
Anjali Jacob.
Annabelle Castillo.
Gormeher Juneja.
Tatiana Mercedes.
Anthea Chan.
Rosemary Brito.
Noor Azari.
Mallory Delgado.
Selma Zaku.
Alana Vicentini.
Una Hayes.
Joanna Magia Salgado.
Alicia Daniels.
Silvano Cazares.
Excellent, thank you.
Melissa Brenman.
Patricia Castillo.
Charity Walden.
Sade Batchelor.
Shanice Marks.
Kaylee Duber.
James Clementi.
Elizabeth Cunningham.
Joan Choi.
Sophie McGuire.
Elizabeth Schoenbach.
Therese Rollins.
Chloe DeTiro.
Maureen Agneil.
Sade Porter.
Annika Alex.
Rachel Concha.
Nathara Bailey.
Natasha Basu.
Megan Delacrosse.
Melissa Sweeney.
Katie Lake.
Han Lim Kim.
Lauren Whitmore.
Duan Manas Warapaskan.
Christina McNure Kiernan.
Vidisha Bordaloy.
Catherine Crum.
Michelle Molina.
Gabrielle Tolchin.
Keisha Joan.
Brett McDonald.
Niati Ajmara.
Courtney Windrum.
Megan Costanzo.
Matilda Zena Koroma.
Christina Schreiner.
Nikaya Garrett.
Fiorella Sarah.
Ivian Harris.
Irene Zhang.
Alexis Jones.
Subhashini Madhavan.
Chelsea Brinson.
Alex Prosciutti.
Michaela Davia.
Tanvi Kankan.
Kylie Alfieri.
Manur Makbul.
Ernest Izumu.
Iamu Gong.
Jacqueline Sullivan.
Yoi Yang.
Caitlin Hollis.
Shufei Guo.
Devin Taylor.
Yanmong Zhou.
Mary Mulroy.
Zhanting Yu.
Mila Hall.
Nan Shu. Jasenia De Leon.
Tanya Chikani.
Catherine Behan.
Andrew McGee.
Emily Clark.
Layla Alniadi.
Olivia Tabachek.
Radwa Mokhtar.
Kathleen Acevedo.
Christopher James.
Samir Sharma.
An Lee.
Alejandra Feliz.
Hatisha Mehta.
Jessica DiPaolo.
Anna Chen.
Kristen Honda.
Marta Coram.
Kimberly Lani.
Yuche Cha.
Lativa Holder.
Vidal Yuk.
Samantha Chang.
Nicole Roman.
Wale Okerayi. Great job.
Guadalupe Rivera.
Epifania Rita Galina.
Dayanara Rosada.
Aaron Riley.
Amanda DeSantis.
Veronica Soria.
Nadia Prabhawati.
Tiffany Holiday.
Karina Roberto.
Iris Olivia Barber.
Janine James.
Perry Zarella.
Okay. Michelle Jeffers.
Kathleen Pate.
Blessing Nuga.
Aaron Doppelt.
Alexa Lantier.
Simone Crane.
Stephanie Rios.
Malika Chopra.
Sheena Lal.
Margaret De Pasquale.
Catherine Reynoso Orta.
Carly Shaw.
Jacquelina Raja.
Dana Nalvin.
Sarah Vantelberg.
Shubai Lee.
Jenna Sackman.
Haley Gardiner.
Melissa Vasquez Maclow.
Purvis Taylor.
Nahal Haydari.
Ana Maria Amador.
Denise Konak.
Ione Celeste Rivera.
Zainat Alara Ozpalat.
Chelsea June.
Alice Hahn.
Vanessa Belke.
Wan Tak Lim.
Guan Yu Wang.
Eunice Song.
Sharen Wang.
Jenyun Dong.
Yaru Wang.
Abdel Rahman Badri.
Shuen Su.
Zachary Modell.
Su Zhao.
Vilmarie Terrazza.
Lauren Williams.
Michael Marino.
Liren Wang.
Alexis Paul.
Duanping Wang.
Jadlia Majed.
Yi Liu.
Micheline Abu Qasim.
Gila Belsky.
Chaparral Mogavero Klein.
Nikita Wadlawa.
Blake Harding.
Tara Sheth.
Raksha Candler.
Molly Porsche.
Heywan Jiang.
Bridget Foster.
Mei Yuan.
Selin Iktamel.
Hadil Thaki.
Rebecca Alcaraz Lopez.
Claudia Jezwawi.
Sophie Choi.
Margaret Beatingcap.
Kava Matheson.
Rachel Donev.
Anisha Mohammed.
Muriel Estevez.
Maya Marshall.
Gina Morello.
Christine Coniz.
Lauren Jorgensen.
Natasha Yamana.
Jiwan Moon.
Will the students and the faculty from the Department of Counseling and Clinical Psychology please stand and recognize our graduates?
Congratulations. I'd now like to invite the candidates in the Department of Education Policy and Social Analysis. Casey Nguyen.
Kristen Barnes.
Michelle Carolina Garcia.
Tian Yang.
Diana Elizabeth Cruz Zamora.
Jose Garcia.
Samantha Omira Okala.
Ciro Cherian.
Samantha Augustine.
Emily Kelleher.
Danielle Midget.
Susha Roy.
Taisha Chavis.
Stephen Harkey.
Megan Richards.
Kristen Dockery.
Tiffany Janae Ferret.
Chanlin Wan.
Ruth Tesfaye.
Isan Fadhil.
Syra Tadani.
Shurin Lee.
Evelyn Canella.
Lucero Batista.
Naima Carolina.
Curran Abrams.
Lorianne Clemenson.
Tanwarpwern Ol.
Gadwin Stewart.
Estefania Suarez Cortez.
Eric Johnson.
Edgar Rivera Cash.
Coral Azori.
William Mark.
Brittany Davis.
Christina Maffa.
Ashley Causey Golden.
Jane Kim.
Andrea Ortiz.
Rika Nishizawa.
Jane Bowles.
Tara Bagaram.
Vanessa Trinidad.
Rachel Gorski.
Elizabeth Monahan.
Andrew Sonneson.
Jolan Williams.
Laura Petty.
Trevor Queen.
Megan Snyder.
Lindsay Foster.
Taesong Cho.
Jacque Brian Gooden.
Jeremy Martin.
Paloma Garcia.
Sherry Angeles.
Young Mong.
Bridget Healy.
Ingsheng Zhang.
Gayatri Anand.
Wenyu Zhang.
Karen Pace.
Enza Corbaciro.
Ali Coleman.
Brian O.
Jianying Liu.
Leana Kwan.
Lingran Wai.
Xiaohan Xu.
Humin Yuang.
Xin Zhang.
Joyce Ye.
Yiling Guo.
Wenpei Yan.
Duen Liu.
Yang Liu. Will the students and the faculty from the Department of Education Policy and Social Analysis please stand and recognize our graduates?
Congratulations. We now celebrate the graduates in the Department of Health and Behavioral Studies. Elizabeth Asen.
Tracy Santos.
Tyler Preston.
Neva Jones.
Andrea Bookoff.
Ryan Havia.
Matthew Abel.
Colleen Curtin. Nida Joseph.
Hannah Kittrell.
Hannah Ehrenberg.
Catherine Martin.
Marian Francisco.
Sarah Toomey.
Danielle Paliuka.
Darian Harris.
Valeria Reyes Casula.
Sundus Malaika.
Michaela Worrell.
Maitri Bokel.
Rachel Paykoff.
Rebecca McLean.
Swarna Rasha.
Blair Silverman.
Megan Mahadi.
Maida Qureshi.
Kimberly Guevara Garabicho.
Anne Louie.
Yaning Mao.
Amy Ng.
McKelder Kersey.
Julie O'Shea.
Iris Calderon.
Amal Elmahi.
Leah Kuriyama.
Chenui Chung.
Lauren Baldonado.
Lynn Wan.
Samantha Forrester.
Jay Wei Yang.
Hung Chang.
Jessica Wilson.
Joanna Vilchevsky.
Shari Keats.
Ife Sun.
Indra Santana.
Aparna Naresh.
Chelsea Amangwal.
Elise Davis.
Jade Lopez.
Jihei Francis Huang.
Madison Wright.
Kristen Fayad.
Tanya Mezer.
Jennifer B.
Angela White.
Andrea Karyazakis.
Jacqueline Sharp.
Christina Wong.
Kelsey Hull.
Wani Cho.
Larry Foster.
Wei Kai Pu.
Justina Garcia.
Nana Ishikawa.
Karina Boulette.
Catherine Pearl.
Qing Yu Yu.
Jennifer Genera.
Beatrice Chiang.
Pauline Mendelson.
Nicole Markopoulos.
Molly McGovern.
Mangza Zhang.
Justin Mastoles.
Ashley Trotta.
Jorli Sarabia.
Katie Dennison.
Sarah Sharon.
Jacqueline Thomas.
Sydney Polifrone.
Mary Catherine Ryan.
Leah Sachs.
Erica Bucking.
Tara Lesser.
Elizabeth Corrick McGowan.
Laura Evans.
Jennifer Crichton.
Amanda Sirignano.
Carol Liang.
Emily Rote.
Ashley McQuiller.
Francesca Jamalva.
Michael Melvin.
Lissy Rosner.
Nicole Lindell.
Brittany Palmer.
Eugenia Hamshaw.
Cameron Carter.
Catherine Hu.
Emily Costantino.
Jessica Chrysler.
Laura Robertson.
Barry Siegerman.
Maha Abbas.
Layla Hasnadar.
Dayang Yoon.
Anik Henriquez.
Cindy Munoz.
Anna Maduro.
Stephanie Fritz. Will the students and our faculty from the Department of Health and Behavior Studies please stand and recognize our graduates? And would all of our students and all of our faculty please stand and recognize our amazing graduates?
And now for the presentation of the candidates, please welcome Provost Thomas James.
Please be seated. President Fuhrman, Mr. Rueckert, trustees, faculty, staff, and guests, it is my pleasure as Provost of the College to present to you the master's candidates from Teachers College. Please hold your applause until all the candidates have been recognized. Would the Master of Arts candidates please stand, be recognized, and remain standing? Would the Master of Science candidates please stand to be recognized and remain standing? Would the Master of Philosophy candidates please stand, be recognized, and remain standing? Would the Master of Education candidates please stand, be recognized, and remain standing? President Fuhrman, I ask you to recommend these students for the granting of their master's degree tomorrow morning at Columbia University's commencement exercises.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marion Boltby, the president of the Teachers College Alumni Association.
Please be seated. Alumni. Let me say that again. Alumni. It is my distinct pleasure to formally welcome you into the Teachers College Alumni Association. As you stand here before this esteemed group and alongside your peers, we look on with great pride. Today, you join our Alumni Association, a network of over 90,000 professionals comprised of graduates from a myriad of academic backgrounds and all walks of life who have created an incredible legacy. You will now be a part of that legacy. Your fellow Teachers College alumni have made a global impact, shaping many fields of inquiry and practice. They have done so through their leadership, tenacity, experience, and wisdom. They have also done so because of the people like the ones around you today, who form your support systems and a network of peer mentors. Many would argue that they have done so because of their Teachers College preparation. We know that you too will follow in these footsteps and make your own mark. Just as you have needed support occasionally during your time at TC, we know that you will need similar resources as you embark on your careers and we encourage you to look to Teachers College. I'm here today to tell you how valuable your participation in our Alumni Association can be. We are colleagues and collaborators, supporters and challengers, mentors and mentees. And most importantly, we are your peers. What keeps us all together is our alma mater, Teachers College. While everyone has had a different journey, I'm certain that no one's path leading to this time and place was free of challenges. I'm also certain that along the way you found inspiration, insight, and joy. And many of you have developed what will become lifelong friendships. I encourage you to stay connected to your classmates as you move forward in your careers, and to tap into the deep pool of expertise and knowledge offered by the broader TC community. We hope to see you at future alumni events and also featured in future newsletters. Know that you will always have a home in TC's vibrant community. On behalf of your fellow alumni, we wish you all the best in your endeavors. Congratulations and welcome to the Alumni Association.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back William Rueckert, Chair of the Teachers College Board of Trustees.
On behalf of the trustees of Teachers College, I want to congratulate each and every one of you on your extraordinary achievement. We thank your families and friends for joining us, and along with the faculty and staff of Teachers College, to recognize you, our master's graduates of the class of 2018. We know that your contributions to improving the lives of your fellow human beings will become part of the TC legacy and will make us all proud.